Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I was set up to do this video an hour ago. I was listening to the news in the background and I had to stop and redo the video. We have a we have an insane president. Let me just get into this. Okay, the video is going to be about how Trump decided to send out a tweet yesterday talking about just he's ordered the Republicans to stop negotiations. No relief, no stimulus, no help for the small businesses, for the people, anybody. He's until after I am reelected. When I first read that, it sounded like he was punishing the American people. It sounded like what do you call it? A quid pro quo. You know, when I'm reelected, you'll get your money. That's exactly what it sounded like to me. The more I looked into it, it looked like it was just all about forget the American people. We have to get Amy Coney Barrett into the Supreme Court so that I can be reelected. It was all about him. Forget the American people. We got to just concentrate on getting the Supreme Court filled. So when there is any dispute, they'll put me in office. He was setting up a win. This is just when I read this, I get scared. I'm not even mad anymore. I am scared. I am scared that there's an insane man running the presidency. I start reading more about dexamethasone, the steroid that he's on that causes increased elevated mood, extra energy. It's like speed. And so it starts to make sense. So as I'm setting up to make this video, about 45 minutes ago, I could hear the world news in the background. Apparently Trump sent out tweets just a few hours ago, overnight, now reversing completely and saying, well, forget the other tweet that I put out. If you just send me a bill with the $1,200 payments to the American people, something to save the airlines are laying off tens of thousands of people. The stock markets plummeted yesterday because they were counting on the stimulus bill. Regardless of what Trump says, the economy is faltering right now with winter coming up. As I ride my bike around this town, all the bars and restaurants that were seating people outside, at least 7 of them are now empty. And this is a very small town. As I talk to Trump supporters, when this stunt by Trump saying, don't fear COVID, it's only sticking on. I see the males the Trump supporters aged about 30 to about 40, 45. The ones that refuse to wear masks. Remember that video I made of that little group of 3 Trump supporters in the parking lot at my local IGA, how they were going to go in there and show the libs and not wear their masks. Those are the guys that are now, and hauling their families into restaurants or wherever with no masks, because their leader said it's safe and they're tough and they're real men. Okay, for reality check, in the last 7 months, COVID-19 has killed more Americans than the last 5 years combined with the flu. This morning, all over the nightly news on NBC, CBS, and ABC, there's families from Michigan, families from Minnesota that have lost family members that are crying on TV, saying, what do you mean, pay no attention, don't be afraid of COVID-19? There's one woman on there just a half hour ago I was watching that lost her mother and father within a week of each other. And she is infuriated. She's crying on TV. What are you talking about? All right. So I think he's insane. I'm reading article after article overnight saying that there's just no way this is good for the economy. The stock market plummeted. There's no way that holding back this stimulus bill is going to be good for Americans, be good for his election, be good for anything. It seems like the move of an insane man. So now Trump supporters are going to say, it was Trump playing 4D chess. Yeah, except there's businesses that heard this yesterday. The stock market plummeted. This is no way to run a country. And here's the biggest thing of all. Who the hell knows what he's going to say tonight? What he's going to say in 2 hours from now? Nobody is good. Nobody can count on this. Nobody is going to take a second mortgage out on their house to keep their business open when Trump keeps changing his story every 12 hours. They're not going to risk everything, their entire life savings. He's used up his credibility, even amongst a lot of Trump supporters. So, you know what? You want to know my honest opinion? I think the death of methazone has worn off. I think it's a 5-day, what do they call, treatment. And that started what was that, Friday or Saturday? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, perfectly 5 days. It would have ran out last night. And all of a sudden, Trump spins around and backs up on this thing about not giving America, not doing any stimulus bill at all until after I am elected. I tell you what I put on Facebook. As soon as I read that, I posted on Facebook, Trump is punishing the American people. That because his poll numbers, unless he's reelected, he's holding back on the stimulus bill, because that's exactly how it read to me. After I gave it some more thought, it was still selfish and self-centered and a total disregard for the American people. But there's speculation, well, maybe after he got back into the White House, he wanted to show the libs that he was strong again. And it was just a matter of screwing the American people, but owning those libs and getting that justice into the Supreme Court seat. Nobody could figure out, because it was just ridiculous. Let me point out one more piece of ridiculousness from last night that nobody could figure out. So he initially tweets out, I've told the Republicans not to cut off negotiations. No stimulus bill until after I'm elected. Then overnight, the chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, tweets out that there's really not a danger of making the stimulus bill too much. What he's saying is there's more of a danger of giving too little, like the Republicans are offering. He's saying that there's a real danger of the economy collapsing further, unless, the more money that we put into the stimulus, the better. Jerome Powell, you could look up the tweet. You know what? I'll put it on my community page. Right after Trump retweets that. Now, it's basically the opposite. It's the complete opposite of what the Republicans are doing, and the complete opposite of cutting off negotiations completely. So Trump retweets that tweet from Jerome Powell, Fed chairman, and then underneath it, he says, exactly. Or something like that. Exactly. Or no, he put true. True. That's true. All right. Now think about it. That's totally contradicting himself. People are reading this tweet and they're seriously wondering if his mental faculties are all there. Last night he tweets out, no negotiations. No negotiations cut off. No stimulus bill. Now the chances of a stimulus bill being passed in a lame duck session are nil too. So there's a good chance if there isn't a stimulus bill passed by election day, we won't see anything until January or February. That's going to crush businesses, families, businesses in this town, the airlines. All right. So like I said, then Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, tweets that, really, we got to put as much money towards this stimulus bill as possible. Trump tweets, true. True being the exact opposite, the exact contradiction of what he said the night before. Then, overnight, he says, tell you what, now I'm all for $1,200 for everybody and the airlines. If it's one-time offer or some crazy stuff like that. I think the death of methazone is wearing off. It's a fact. It's a mood enhancer. We have a president that's in mood swings from steroids, or he's insane. like I said, I'm past the point of anger or Democrat or Republican or conservative or liberal. I'm downright scared that we have a nutcase in the White House, an insane man. I mean, it's brutally obvious at this point that it's all about him. So he tweets, he's tweeting that maybe I'm immune. Tell that to the 215,000 Americans that died in 7 months. 7 months. That's, like I said before, one more time, I'll say it. The last 7 months, COVID-19 has killed more Americans than the last 5 years combined of the flu. Now, I'm saying this too because Trump tweeted that he more or less made a comparison. That it's just like the flu. We'll get over it. We'll get past it. We learned to live with the flu. We'll learn to live with this. Social media said no. Facebook took it down. Twitter put a rejection on it. We've got a president who's being rejected by social media for putting out fake news. There's no other way to put it. I'm dying to see, usually on my videos, there's about 3 people out of 200, maybe 100, 200 viewers. They'll give the thumbs down. You guys, fill me in. I won't say one of the names because I do not reward bad behavior. I was this close to saying one of your names, but I will not do that. Like I said, I don't reward bad behavior. I'm not going to have more idiots in my comment section. All right. And like I said, this is any of you that have seen my comment section, you all know who I'm talking about. I bounced them once before and I'll do it again. All right. Enough said. So it really looks like we have a president on who's coming off steroids. Dexamethasone. Look it up. Check it out. I'll try to find a link. There's so much going on. I'm having a hard time getting to all my comments, to replying to them. With everything that's going on overnight and the president flip-flopping 3 times, I've had to change the video 3 times. All right, I'll be back later. Have a good Wednesday. I'll see you guys in a little while.